Why is Isaiah called the greatest Messianic prophet of all time? What did this ancient seer witness about the coming Savior nearly 8 centuries before Jesus walked the earth? Today, we're diving into one of the most extraordinary prophetic journeys in human history. Picture this. It's the 8th century BC. The kingdom of Judah stands at a crossroads between empires. The mighty Assyrian war machine is crushing nations like grapes under a chariot wheel, while the shadow of Babylon looms on the horizon. 4 kings ruled during Isaiah's lifetime: Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, each facing impossible choices as superpowers clash around their tiny nation. But the real crisis isn't military. It's spiritual. The temple still stands in Jerusalem, but the hearts of the people have grown cold. Worship has become mere ritual. Social justice has crumbled. The rich exploit the poor while religious leaders turn a blind eye. Sound familiar? In this chaos, God needs a voice. He needs someone willing to speak truth when it's dangerous, hope when it seems foolish, and judgment when it's unpopular. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Isaiah chapter 6 opens with King Uzziah's death, a time of national uncertainty. But Isaiah's eyes are lifted higher than earthly thrones. He sees the Lord seated on a throne high and exalted. The temple fills with smoke. 6-winged seraphim cry out, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of His glory." Can you imagine the very foundation shake? This isn't a gentle meditation or a peaceful prayer. This is raw, overwhelming divine encounter. And Isaiah's response? Terror. "Woe to me, I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. And my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty." Here's the beautiful part. One of the seraphim takes a live coal from the altar and touches Isaiah's lips. "See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away, and your sin atoned for." Instantly, purification. Instantly, forgiveness. And when God asks, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" Isaiah's response is immediate. "Here am I, send me." This encounter shapes everything that follows. Isaiah's ministry becomes a living tension between 3 powerful themes: His absolute holiness, humanity's so desperate need for cleansing, and the divine commission to proclaim both judgment and hope. And what a message he carries! Isaiah doesn't pull punches. He exposes the emptiness of idol worship, those lifeless statues that can't speak, hear, or save. He condemns social injustice with blazing eloquence. He warns that God's judgment is coming like a consuming fire, yet woven through these warnings is an unbreakable thread of hope. Even when the nation faces exile, even when Jerusalem lies in ruins, God will preserve a remnant. The story isn't over. But here's where Isaiah becomes truly extraordinary. His prophetic vision doesn't stop with his own generation. He sees through the corridors of time to a coming deliverer who will change everything. And the details are breathtaking. In Isaiah 7, we encounter Emmanuel, God with us. When King Ahaz trembles before enemy armies, Isaiah declares that a virgin will give birth to a son who embodies God's presence with His people. This isn't just a thing for one generation. It's a promise echoing through eternity. Isaiah 9 explodes with royal imagery, for to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. This future king will establish justice and righteousness forever. His kingdom will have no end. Chapter 11 paints an even more detailed portrait, a shoot from Jesse's stump, a branch from David's roots. This coming ruler will judge with righteousness, defend the oppressed, and bring such peace that wolves will live with lambs, and children will play near cobra dens. The knowledge of the Lord will fill the earth like waters cover the sea. But perhaps Isaiah's most stunning revelation comes in chapters 52 and 53, the suffering servant. Here, Isaiah sees something that seems impossible. The Messiah will not conquer through force, but through sacrifice. He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. Think about this 8 centuries before crucifixion was even invented. Isaiah describes a servant who is led like a lamb to the slaughter, and whose suffering brings healing to the nations. He sees the Messiah's death as substitutionary, taking on himself the guilt and punishment that belongs to others. And the vision expands even further. In Isaiah 42 and 49, this Messiah becomes a light for the Gentiles, not just Israel's deliverer, but salvation reaching to the ends of the earth. The good news will break beyond ethnic boundaries to embrace all humanity. How does Isaiah compare to other great prophets? Jeremiah speaks powerfully about the new covenant. Ezekiel has incredible visions of God's glory. Daniel unveils prophetic timelines, but Isaiah alone weaves together the cosmic scope of Messianic prophecy with such poetic beauty and theological depth. He sees the Messiah as both suffering servant and conquering king, both Israel's Redeemer and the world's light. Throughout his long ministry, Isaiah faces an agonizing tension. The people he loves grow increasingly hardened to God's voice. Their hearts become calloused, their ears heavy, their eyes blind. Yet God remains faithful to his promises. The prophet must declare judgment while proclaiming hope, warning of exile while promising restoration. This is the spiritual tension every generation faces. Will we respond to God's call like Isaiah, "Here whom I send me," or will we harden our hearts? Will we trust God's promises even when circumstances seem hopeless? Isaiah's message pulses with relevance for our turbulent times. In our age of moral confusion, he calls us to pursue holiness, not perfectionism, but authentic transformation by God's purifying touch. When national and global crises shake our confidence, he reminds us to trust in God's sovereign plan rather than human strategies. His passionate advocacy for justice challenges us today. Isaiah couldn't stomach religious ritual divorced from social compassion. He demanded that worship lead to defending the oppressed, caring for orphans and widows, and pursuing righteousness in every sphere of life. Faith without justice isn't faith at all. Most importantly, Isaiah anchors our hope in the Messiah himself. When everything else fails, governments, economies, human wisdom. The promise remains, Emmanuel, God with us, the Prince of Peace, whose kingdom will never end, the suffering servant who trades his life for ours, the light of the world who breaks through every darkness. As we face our own uncertainties, personal struggles, relational conflicts, societal upheaval, Isaiah's voice still calls across the centuries. The God who called him with purifying fire is the same God who offers cleansing and purpose to us. The Messiah he saw in prophetic vision has come, died, risen, and reigns. The hope he proclaimed burns as brightly today as it did in ancient Jerusalem's darkest hours. What crisis are you facing that needs Isaiah's perspective? Where do you need to hear, "Here am I, send me," in your own circumstances? How might the Messiah's light illuminate the darkness you're walking through? The God of Isaiah is still speaking. The question is, are we listening? Share your thoughts in the comments below. How has Isaiah's message of hope encouraged you? And if this journey through Old Testament prophecy has sparked your curiosity, subscribe for more explorations of Scripture's most fascinating characters. The story of God's faithfulness is far from over.